regarding HLA. Oh, thank you for that, Megan. Just wanted to give some quick updates on the status of the Homeless Leadership Alliance. So some of us are still obviously working. Some of my staff had to evacuate. Some are going to shelter. So we're just trying to make sure that we have as many staff available to be able to give some updates. I'm still going to be available. Hopefully we don't lose power, but we'll still be available to be able to send out some information as needed, and hopefully everybody's still receiving those updates. I guess while we're waiting for Dominique and Jessica, does anybody have any updates on shelter or any other updates that they want to provide for their facilities?
I'll just say that we've been working vigorously to clear 15th of the street homeless. Um, we're doing everything possible. Obviously, we can't force them to shelter, but we're strongly emphasizing them that they need for their own safety, that they need to go to shelter. And the rest of the shelter is tightened down as far as the actual building and everything else.
Okay, perfect. Any other shelter update? Thank you, John.
Hey, it's Zach. We got done with the mass evacuation of Safe Harbor about 45 minutes ago. We transported everybody that was currently on site down to either Lellman or our ADA went up to Palm Harbor. We anticipate about 60 people that will be continuing to return throughout the day and night who left to go to work. We'll continue to bring them down to Lellman as it's safe. We will also be transporting anybody released from the county jail without anywhere to go. We'll be checking with all inmates being released to make sure that they can get to safety and aren't going to be out on the street.
Thank you, Lieutenant H, for that update. Any other updates from any other shelter providers? No. I know the transportation was going to be cut off at 2 today, so hopefully everybody had the opportunity to get on the public transportation and needs transportation to get to the shelter. I believe we still have to at least 1 hour before everything shuts down with the transportation. So I'm hoping that everybody was able to take advantage of that.
This is Joe with Pinellas CoC. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hi,
Okay,
Joe.
great. Took me a second. Yeah,
That's okay.
we evacuated the whole Pinellas Hope shelter yesterday and tore down all the tents and got everybody out. They're up at Largo High and also the special needs shelter. In our back apartments, the Pinellas Hope apartments, there were many clients who refused to leave. So there's probably between 80 and 100 people still in the apartments. And, I'm anticipating some pretty major flooding back there. I'm anticipating the electricity to go out and the water will be shut off also. So the marshal, I met him out there today and he was trying to coax some people out too, but they got their heels dug in pretty good. So I'm gonna go out there again first thing in the morning, and if I can convince anybody, I'll get them to the shelter tomorrow. But other than that, they're just gonna have to hunker down and ride it out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate that they don't want to move, but hopefully they'll be able to move and get into safety. Thank you for that update, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy, was there an update? I thought the PSA stop time got pushed back till later tonight, or Dominique, I don't know if you know that either.
It's a question about transportation being pushed back. Was that your question, Arrow?
Yes, ma'am. I thought I heard it got pushed back from 2 o'clock to later, like 9 o'clock tonight, but I don't know if anyone was on all the things.
Sorry, Dominique. I know you were going to say something.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm so sorry. I'm a couple minutes late. I honestly lost track of time. So we are well over 1,000 residents at my shelter. So shelters are still coming online. I'm getting some information from Jessica, but she is in a a strategy meeting, as well as the managers meeting happening. So we apologize we were not here on time for coverage, but the update that I have received, storm related update that I have received is really still some of the same that we've been talking about is that this is going to be a major event. It shifting a little south or a little north does not really impact the overall damage that we're going to be seeing in our community. It's, you know, it's going to be a big impact, obviously. So they're still expecting now this time they're saying 5 to 12 inches of rain, upward to 18 inches, 10 to 15-foot storm surge, as well as an increased tornado threat. The timing has kind of gone back and forth as well. It's looking right now like Wednesday, 3 p.m. is really where we'll start seeing it, exiting Thursday by 8 a.m. So the brunt of it will be kind of that overnight now of Wednesday. I did just question in about the PSTA arrow. I have not heard that, but really I am. And I'm sheltered at the shelter is what I say. So I've kind of have my blinders on to some of those items. So let me see if I can get some information back on that. I did join when you were doing a call out of evacuations. So I may be repeating some of these items, but Pinellas Hope as well as Salvation Army did completely evacuate yesterday. Safe Harbor and HEP evacuated this morning. And Alpha House also chose to evacuate, and they are actively evacuating right now, securing their place as well. Also, the EOC did confirm that PSTA is still stopping at 2 o'clock today. That is still the plan. So as far as some unmet needs or some of the things that we've been talking through is really, again, some of that long-term recovery. So if we're talking about storm still coming through till Thursday, 8 a.m., there's going to still be storm surge. There's going to be some of that waiting to recede. So we're just kind of following that and heeding that. Shelters have been coming online. 2 additional ones, I believe, were open this morning. I anticipate some additional ones will be coming online as well. And I think that's what that strategy meeting is about, to really try and identify shelters. But there are shelters that are already staffed and ready to activate and ready to open. It's just a matter of ensuring the right pieces are in place. And now, again, all of that is in other meetings that I'm not a part of, but all things that are being worked out and hopefully communicated as quickly and effectively as we can. I've also heard there's been some challenges with the Uber code. Excuse me, that continues to be a problem with some people have no problem using it, and other people are having challenges with the Uber code, but it is still open. I'm receiving people at my shelter that are using it, but there are multiple places where you can put a code in. So I believe it is the code area. Let me look it up real quick. In the promo code section, so there's like a voucher, a coupon, there's various codes where you could put in a code, just making sure it's going into that promo code. And people are arriving at our shelter with that. And again, those buses are running until 2. So honestly, right now, people should be getting on that last bus. That's kind of their last opportunity for public transit. Is there any questions that I can try and field or get back to you with? Okay. Hearing none, I'll turn it back over to PHLA.
Thank you, Dominique. Yeah, I didn't see any other questions on the chat. Are there any other updates, questions, or concerns, or anything that we can look into to assist Dominique with any feedback or any information that the group may be looking into? Any concerns or questions at all?
I just have a comment that I want to give a shout out to Pinellas County, how organized it's been. We also have a shelter over in Hillsborough County, and it's night and day what we're doing over here and the organization compared to what we're experiencing in Hillsborough. So shout out to you, Dominique, and everybody else at the county. Thank you for making it as easy as we can to get through this.
Absolutely.
I'll let the team know. We're trying. We are trying.
I believe I saw Chair Beckman and then Ms. Teresa Jones hand up.
Thank you, Daisy. I just wanted to echo that sentiment. Thank you all for your dedication, your expertise, your calm in this storm, literally. And we're all here to work together, and we're all doing our best. And I too am proud of all of the efforts in the organization for this unknown, impact that we're all going to be living through. So thank you very much. Thank you, Daisy.
No, thank you. Miss Teresa Jones?
Thanks, Daisy. This question actually is probably for Dominique, and it's related to the possibility that the city of St. Petersburg will be cutting off the services from the southwest and northeast sewer treatment plants. And I'm wondering if there's any concerns about the homeless shelters in St. Petersburg in terms of that happening. Because my understanding is that if that happens, that there will be limited, they're going to be encouraging people not to take showers, not to wash dishes, the ability to flush toilets and things like that will be an impact. So I'm wondering if there's any concerns for those shelters the homeless shelters that are sheltering in place. I believe that John Mafata mentioned that they were going to be sheltering in place at St. Vincent de Paul.
So they did the same thing for Helene, and that was a concern of mine also. And I let Michael know, and it said that it wouldn't affect us, and it didn't affect us, thank God. Let's hope that that's the same case for this one.
Okay. Thank you, John.
So this is to add to that, John and Teresa. There are, I guess, 3 areas of St. Pete, and there was one area that did have to do that shut-off notice that you're talking about for the last storm. John, your shelter is outside that area. The second area that they're potentially shutting down is in your area, John. So just I wanted to clarify that for all parties. So it's my understanding that it's essentially 275 north of, I'm going to say 38th Street is the area that got shut off last time. They are anticipating that to be the first one to shut off, and they may also be shutting off the one for essentially 38th South. If you look at the map, there's just 3 quadrants. They are potentially looking at that, but it is all related to the storm surge, and there's still time for us to adjust to that. Me personally, I'm saying that's also impacting what shelters are online and offline right now. But that's all things that they are very well aware of at the EOC and actively working to see how we can make corrections on that, how we can work through that.
And I will, I have a 2 o'clock with my executive staff after this meeting, and I will share with them that information. But my initial plan would be, we have plenty of drinking water, and we'll all be a little stinky, and we'll just have to try to get some porta johns in here or something like that if that happens, or if it looks like it's going to be an extended period of time. But I will definitely share that on my 2 o'clock to let them know that there's a possibility this time that our section might be shut off.
And John, that also, I'll find the map and put it in the chat. That also applies West Care to you all. You are also, I believe, in that like second quadrant, second section that might be shutting off, but not obviously not a quadrant. But
Thanks. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you for that question. Any other questions or concerns that we could probably look up or address?
Just real quick, Dominique, did you say you're going to put that link in the chat? Because I got people that live in those areas.
it's in there now, or it's loading. There it is. Yes. So the green or yellow, that is the one that was impacted this past time. That was the first one to go offline. And the southwest, which is that blue area, is the one they anticipate to go offline this time. So it does look like, it actually looks like Allendale. So I thought I was told in the 30s, but it looks more like maybe that's 13th or so. But you can use that map. And if you Google it, it will come right up. The mayor has been addressing it in his press conferences that those are the Northeast and the Southwest will probably be experiencing that. depending, and it's all dependent on the storm surge. So of course, what they forecast doesn't always happen. But the first one would be the Northeast.
Thank you. And I believe Arrow has her hand up.
Just to get back to the bus thing, I did find the email. I forwarded it to you, Dominique and Daisy. Maybe we can get clarification. It was from Pinellas County's Everbridge notice at about 6:40 last night. Says the buses are running till 9 p.m., but the PSTA website still says 2. So I know that the arrival time of the storm got pushed back. I don't know if there's anyone from Pinellas EM on here that can clarify that, or from PSTA.
I don't believe I see anybody from PST on the call, but we can find out and clarify the time. I haven't heard anything regarding the time change, but I didn't receive this email, so we'll find out for you, Arrow. And we'll send it out to the group if anything's changed.
This is Jonna Sicilian. I'm over at the School Board Central Command, and I did ask, and what I was told, I hesitate to share because I don't know what it means, is that they are sticking to the 2 o'clock, but they're going to make some kind of quote surprise announcement after that. So I have no idea what that is, but we will have to wait and see. But I did verify they haven't pushed the time back unless that's the surprise announcement.
And the EOC they're texting me and from a meeting, so they're the ones who did confirm that 2 o'clock at 10 minutes ago. But their social media, PSTA social media, so that they would be doing some routes. I'll tell you what they did for Helene is they did like one last Barrier Island route, like to do those, hey, this is your last bus, this is your last opportunity. So it may be something like that to support those last evacuation needs. But as far as regular routes are supposed to be ending at 2.
Okay, thank you. There is a question on the chat regarding any advice for those without the ability to flush, any other makeshift ideas?
That's exactly when they tell you to fill your tub. That's what filling your tub is for. Filling your tub is for using it in the toilets to flush your toilets. However, you're not going to be able to flush your toilets. So what the recommendation, and this is honestly something I've seen online, is to use things like putting a bag over the toilet, using it, and then wrapping it up just like you would pet waste or something like that, to have that separated. Obviously, then working on throwing that away is a different task completely. I don't know if there's anyone that experienced that through the last storm that potentially has some guidance on that. And I believe my understanding is the city would also be giving some guidance, as they did work through that recently. Kathleen, I see your hand raised, and I'll see if I can find something that supports that.
I think that was from Kathleen Beckman's question the last time. Okay, any other questions or concerns?
Dominique, what is capacity, like full capacity? I know it's different from students, right, with sleeping quarters and so forth at Largo High.
I don't have that offhand, but I know it's well over 5,000, so maybe even double that. But yes, that would be every hallway and every nook and cranny of this building. We still do have plenty of room at the shelter, and again, they are also working on bringing more shelters online. Other shelters that are open and operational have varied capacity based off of the buildings that meet the standards and have some of those services. But there are multiple shelters throughout the county with plenty of space, and we are not refusing or turning anyone away. Aisha, if you're on the call, I think you were, yes. It was a question yesterday, so I'm sure some people are wondering it as well. Those who are registered with SPOT and have to check in, has that been activated yet?
Spot Yeah, sexual predator offender tracking unit. Those deputies are already on site at that location.
Okay, so that's always a question that's come up, I think, every day. So anyone who is encountering someone who has to register, they can check in with their registration and they're given that site location. So that facility is open and operational as of this morning.
Dominique, I would just mention that Helen put the link in the chat for those that might want to check the address to see which one of the sewage treatment plants.
Thank you. Thank you, Helen.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that, Teresa. And Dominique did put some information regarding plant shutdowns. It seems like they're gonna look at it closer to landfall on Wednesday. And there's also a question on regarding Turning Point. It says, did I hear that if we have street homeless people dealing with SA and could struggle with traditional evac shelters, could possibly stay at Turning Point for the storm?
I don't see David on the call.
Yeah, I don't
You
believe
did
he's on.
mention that though.
We spoke about that yesterday, and I
Yesterday.
just don't know what their capacity is. Is Suzanne or maybe Victoria, are you able to see what their shelter census looks like? Might give us an idea of how many spaces they have open.
We'll be I don't know if Suzanne's on the line and Victoria's currently evacuating. We can
Okay.
find out. I can reach out to them.
I can try and take a look at that. I do also have a question whenever we're ready to hop on to the next question.
I'm sure we just need to find out regarding Turning Point, but you go ahead.
So what is the recommendation for infants or small children who are immune compromised and can't take the risk of going to a shelter due to like recent hospitalizations? Like, what are the other options, or in what way could I guide or direct those in those particular situations?
Yes. Ashley? I think it would depend on your definition of immune compromised. So there is a triage assessment tool that is used by the CIC number or at the special needs shelter to determine if they would be the appropriate facility for them or if they would be diverting people to the hospital. So I think that, again, it depends on what is it just because they're small, or there's some additional things that's causing that compromised immune?
There is something that's specifically compromising. Yeah.
So
and the baby was recently hospitalized.
Okay. So the guidance will probably be to go back to the hospital to triage that, but let me put in the CIC number, which is that information line. I should know this number by heart by now, but I don't. I'll put it in the chat. Okay.
22, we're going to the one down the street that's called Mildred. Mildred House. Mildred.
There it is. Okay, that number is 464-4333.
Okay, thank you.
And that's the CIC community information, and they'll be able to triage those and just give you the most appropriate fit.
All right, and I'll try and get that answer for Turning Point.
Oh yeah, I did. I turned it
in.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns that we can address in this call, or possibly get some further information clarified?
Let me know.
I will.
And the thing is that
Or any other updates from any other shelters that we may need to know of?
Yeah. So I randomly still do that. It's in the one entrance.
No, none. Anything else, Dominique, that you wanted to address?
No, I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it 1,000 more times. Thank you, everyone, for what you're doing. I know this is the biggest storm. They've said that biggest storm of my lifetime as a Tampa native. So thank you for all of your work and what you do for your family and your community. I want you all to stay safe. and we'll connect again tomorrow. Please call me, text me if you need me, and we'll keep, working through this. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Talk soon.
Stay safe, everyone.
Take
Stay
care.
safe.
Stay safe.